Welcome back to the Glacial Gold Hunter. We're here at a brand new stream, which means it's prospecting day. Now on prospecting day, maybe I'll find gold, maybe I won't. The only way to know is to start taking some pans. Now anytime I'm at a new stream, it's always kind of a chore to figure out where to start digging. I'd like to find cobble fields, gravel bars, that type of thing. I've had pretty good luck finding the glacial gold in areas like that. I don't see any cobble fields right here, but I do see a nice gravel bar right there. In my experience, I like to find a little bit bigger gravel field to find some good gold, but you never know until you test. So let's take our first pan right in that gravel bar and see if there's any gold here. I get asked all the time if I know if there's gold in one stream or another, or one area or another. To be honest, I don't. There's only one way to know if there is, and that's to get your pan out and go look for it. And the hunt is part of the fun. I have no idea what I'm gonna find today. I might find nothing, I might find an awesome new spot. The prospecting part of it, that's part of the fun. If people just told you where to go to find gold, that'd take out a big piece of the fun. I don't see a whole lot of black sand here. I would like to see that, but there is some. We'll see if there's any gold. Even a little speck of gold would be nice. Just to know there's gold in this stream. I see no specks of gold. So I think I'm gonna have to look around for some of that bigger gravel that I like to find. This gravel bar is pretty small, so we'll just keep searching. The hunt continues. This river has a lot of bends in it if I look at the map, and typically bendy rivers are going to be more sandy rivers. They're going to be lower lying topography and they're able to kind of chew into the bank and wind around a little bit more. Not always, but that seems to be the case. It's kind of the nature of the meandering river. It's going to be a little bit lower lying, which means smaller sediments. But I just need to keep exploring around the bends and see what we find. It's another river bend that comes around here. No gravel bars, nothing, no cobbles or anything. There's a spot of grass that's completely submerged, and the water level has just been so high this year. Just rain all the time. Now right here, there's no inside bend or anything. It's kind of the middle of the stream, but I see the right size cobbles and gravels mixed up, so maybe gold is depositing with those. See some bigger cobbles, but at the same time, it's really sugar sandy in there. Every time I drop a rock in there and a splash goes and hits me in the eye, I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna get a parasite.
Dr. Barry Schechter has found a parasitic worm in Carmen's eye.
Some kind of eyeball worm or something. Hasn't happened yet, but it could.
You are not to watch that show anymore.
So I do see more black sand in this pan than the last one. And I see some gold. Yeah, look at that. Right there is a speck of gold. And there's another speck right there. 2 specks. Here's my finger for scale. So I found that gold just right in the middle of nowhere in the stream, but it was the right size of material. Cobble gravel mix. I have the best luck in a cobble gravel mix. So at least I know this is a gold bearing stream, and I could come back here and maybe find a little pile of gold right there. A pile of gold. But the fact that there's gold here is an encouraging sign, and maybe I can go explore a little bit more and find a better area. If not, I'll come right back here and pan out some buckets. There's a big rock in the middle of the stream and it kind of makes that V, and there's some good cobble gravel mixes on either side there. So you can see how that's a low pressure zone. So it might be that there's a string of gold dropping out somewhere along that. And I've been told that if you're looking behind a rock, it's better to come back a little bit and not dig right behind the rock, but a little bit over farther. So I'm gonna give some test pans right there and see what we find. Oh, I don't know how to tell you this, but I lost my gold pan. I took a scoop of material, put it in my gold pan, and then submerged it, hoping it would hold it. Then I went back to the bank to set up a camera for a really cool shot. When I got back, the gold pan was gone. And I just went down the stream as far as I could to try to find it. It's not stopping anywhere, it's gone. That was a good gold pan too. So many good memories.
Gary, now I know I was wrong. I messed up and now you're gone. Gary, I'm sorry I neglected you. Oh, I never expected you.
So well, Mr. Gold Pan, wherever you are. The good news is I have another gold pan in my truck. The bad news is it's a long walk up a big hill.
I'll be back. I'm back.
Got it. Where was I? Oh yeah. Stay. See, it stays now. Hey. Hey. See what we got. Lots of black sand. Ooh. And some nicer pieces of gold. Right there are two decent specks. And there's some other minor specks in there too. Like right there. There's my finger for scale. Yeah, turns out there is gold behind rocks. So there's a few more specks in that pan. That wasn't even a big pan worth of material. So we could probably find some better spots on the creek, but for now I just want to fill a bucket and see what we get with that. I'm really glad this didn't float away. My friend Michelle hooked me up with this really cool bucket with my own logo.
What do you think, you're such a big shot now?
I feel like a big shot with this. This is really cool, so thank you, Michelle. Pro Tough Decals is where she works, and she hooked me up with this bucket. Awesome, really appreciate it. And of course it gets a bucket handle from Tech Products. They really do improve a bucket. Oh, broken glass. You know what that means. Now, especially when I'm at a new creek, I want to take a close look at the tailings. And what I see here is a lot of glacial till. But there's also a lot of limestone, like a lot more limestone than normal. Now, limestone is not the strongest of rocks. It doesn't endure the stresses that a lot of other rocks do, like a granite. So that tells me that there's limestone beds not too far from here. They wouldn't have survived too long if they came from a long ways away. And I do know the bedrock geology of the area is a lot of limestone and sandstone, so that makes sense. But rocks like this gabbro and this granite, they came from a lot farther away. There's no outcrops like that around here, so they took a ride on the glaciers just like the gold. Okay. Now where we are today, it's panning only, so we're just gonna speed pan. But to be honest, on this creek, there's no place to set up a sluice anyway. So even if you're allowed to sluice, doesn't mean you always can sluice. But we can pan. This pan's a little bit smaller than the one that floated away, but it still works. There's a lot of black sand in there. All right, so that whole bucket's panned on down to this. Let's take a peek at what a Glacial Gold Hunter bucket gets us. Oh yeah, there's a good number of specks in there. There's quite a number of specks in there. They're not big, but there's a fair few. So that's awesome. We didn't get skunked today, and we found a new creek with gold in it. I figured there'd be gold in this creek because there's a stream to the east of here that has gold and a stream to the west here that has gold. And if you think of the glaciers coming down from the north, if it spread the gold between those two creeks, it's a good chance it'd be here too. And it is. So I know I could get some more gold behind that rock, but there's some other places, especially when I was looking for my pan, that looked pretty juicy. So I want to keep exploring this new creek and see what else we can find. So just put this in our concentrate bucket and we'll keep on moving. So when I was coming down looking for my pan, I ran on this little bar here, and this is the lead side of an inside bend, and right up there is a big cobble field. So it's gravel and cobbles, and it just looks like the right size and the right line that it would hold some gold. So I want to take some test pans there and we'll see. You can just see all these cobbles and stuff. It's just a good size of material, and when I dig into it, it's that cobble sand mix that I like. So that's panned down. Let's take a peek. There are some ginormous garnets in here too. Looks like rubies in the sunlight. Really cool. Oh yeah, and there's gold there. And there are some pieces of gold all across the edge. Tiny little pieces, but they're there. So let's go ahead and see what a whole bucket gets us. So that's about a full bucket right there, so we'll pan that down and see what we got. And there's a peek of that next bucket. And that's probably the biggest piece I've found so far, considerably bigger than the other pieces, and there's a fair few other pieces in there too. So this inside bend has proven to be a good spot as well. I could continue to dig here and get some more gold, but today is prospecting day, so I'm going to keep on going down the river and see what else we can find. You can see this inside bend here is nothing but sand. I don't want to dig in the sand. There's no gold in the sand. You know, you see something like that, you think my gold pan would have got hung up, but it just didn't. That looks like a gold pan catcher too, but no gold pan. Where are you, gold pan? I'm gonna miss that gold pan. So here's another spot that I want to try. It's a big straight area, and this log is kind of forcing water to roll up underneath. It gets really deep underneath that log, except for that big rock right there. So the water's kind of rolling up, and there's a bunch of gravel piling up right there, kind of behind that rock. So right there is kind of a low pressure zone, and it looks like the right size of material, so I want to try a bucket right there. I was only going to do a test pan here, but I realized when I was filming I said I wanted to test a bucket. So I didn't want to be a liar, so I just went right into filling my bucket. Just a couple really tiny specks right there. So there is some gold there, but it's so small I don't think I'm going to stay here, so we'll keep moving. So here's another inside bend with a good gravel bar. I just filled up a bucket. Let's see what's in that. And that spot had a few more specks. But again, not a lot, and they're pretty small. So clearly there's a lot of spots on this river that have gold. That's great. It's all micro gold and there's not a lot of it, but it is here. Now, one thing I notice about this river is there are some big boulders in here, but not a lot. There's not any boulder fields. There's not a lot of cobbles, and they're kind of the baseball, softball size. They're not big cobbles. Most of this river is smaller gravels, sand and gravels, and I think that's why it has such a meander to it. There's not enough bigger pieces to kind of keep that riverbank structured and a little straighter. It's flowing pretty good, and there's a good elevation change, but without those bigger cobbles and the boulders, it just is free to kind of meander and carve those banks, and that's why it has such a wind to it. Just an observation of the river. Now those pieces don't look like much, but they add up. So I got a little pail of concentrates here. Let's take that home and see how much gold we got. Well, we're back at headquarters with our concentrates. We may be down one pan, but at least I still got my gold claw pan. Why couldn't it have been you? But I'm gonna use this to hold all my concentrates while I strain it out to size, and then we'll get to cleaning it up. There's two big pieces of glass that I found. And I found both of those behind the rock. I didn't find any glass anywhere else. I also found this cool thing. I was trying to figure out what this thing was, and it kind of looked like the inside of a snail shell, but it's not quite uniform enough for that. It could be a coprolite, which is a fossilized poop. Or it could be a little tunnel from a little creature that went through the rock, and then this ended up getting silicified more or cemented more, so the main rock weathered away, but this was hard enough to resist the weathering. That's kind of what I think it is, like a little worm tunnel. It's cool though. So I really don't have much to go through here, so instead of setting up my cleanup sluice, I'm just going to go through it the old-fashioned way. And to do that, I just put 1 teaspoon at a time in there and go through that. I take my snuffer bottle, and any piece of gold I see, I snuff her up. So in the end, instead of your sluice concentrating it, you're just manually concentrating it with your snuffer. It works and it's kind of relaxing. So we're going to do it that way. Alright, so all the gold is in there, and that took longer than setting up my cleanup sluice, but it's something a little different to do. I like different. Now, let's see how much gold we got. And there's what we got. Lots of little specks, but they do add up. And there's some scale. I'll take it. I even got a few nice garnets. I don't keep a lot of those, but they're kind of cool. And they're pretty common. I just picked a few out just now, but... Well, I would call that a successful prospecting day. We lost the gold pan, but we found another spot that we can go find gold. Not big pieces, but a lot of little specks. That was 3.5 buckets. That's what we went through today. But the hunt is part of the fun. Thank you guys for coming along. Come on back for the next one. Bye-bye.